And that's the magic of Reframe and Reclaim. We were actually talking to a client earlier this week of we can start in this space. Just know as we start to shift things around and things maybe function a little differently, you may want to also, continue with other spaces. And I think that's exactly what's happened.
Welcome to Reframe and Reclaim. We are Courtney Huckabee, a psychotherapist,
and Jen Harris, an interior designer
who have teamed up to reflect,
challenge,
and reframe your mindset in relationship with your personal belongings.
Join us as we discuss and declutter all of the stuff that keeps us stuck.
Learn to intentionally create environments with improved function and design that cultivate peace of mind. Find the reframe.
Start your reclaim.
Hi, welcome back to Reframe and Reclaim. I am Courtney Huckabee.
And I'm Jen Harris.
And we're here to talk about wrapping up the end of the year. We're in the last quarter check-in.
Whew.
I know.
Came quick.
This year seems to have gone by very fast, a little furious too.
Yes.
There's been a lot of change and progress, and we're just kind of checking in. How are we doing as we're getting to the end of the year?
Yes. I'm like deer in headlights. So much has changed.
We're here.
Yeah, so we we were kind of talking about like what spaces we've reframed and reclaimed this year, and for me it has really been my entire home since we moved. So it's still in progress, but I've touched almost everything in my house. There's a few things that at the last minute was like, just it's in the box, just move it. We'll get to it eventually. But so yeah, just reframing, reclaiming really all of life, like moving homes,
one city to another.
One city to another, so different houses, changing schooling systems because we went from public school to homeschool, and new jobs. My husband was working 5 days a week. Now it's 4 days a week, so we have more family time on the weekends. And so, yeah, it's just been a lot of change this year, but a lot for the good and a lot of hopeful things to come. So,
and not to mention, you published a book at the end of last year.
Yes, that as well.
The end of last year, as we're talking about the end of the quarter,
Mm-hmm.
the last quarter, we wrapped up last year and published in the last quarter of the year our Reframe and Reclaim book. And we've been spending this full year really just putting it out there, letting people know about it, introducing ourselves to people.
Yes.
So that's been different too.
Make some transformations in other people's homes as well as my own.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's been very fulfilling. And just being able to see how by changing someone's space, how it can help not only the functionality of the space, but like their mental load, and how they can make them feel both mentally and physically better has been really an amazing transformation to see.
It's really rewarding.
Yes.
It is, and as a counselor, a psychotherapist, I'm helping people reframe, helping them navigate life. But this is like a shift for me too, because I'm like going into different people's homes and we're looking at their physical environment.
Mm-hmm.
We're hearing about their patterns in their families. Some of the things that are very similar to what I do with my private practice clients. But I'm in my office, in my space, and we're talking in that space, but going into somebody's space is a lot more intimate.
Yes.
I feel like, I hear a lot of very intimate things with my clients, but these clients, we're actually walking into their homes and impacting their physical environments. But like you said, their relationships, their feelings and perspectives about who they are and, how they feel every day. So it's so rewarding and in a new capacity for sure.
And them just being able to trust us, because it's very courageous to just open up your home and, just be completely exposed at times, right? And so it's been very rewarding being trusted to go into people's homes and be able to transform the space and help them. So.
And seeing how you transform the space is so beautiful. It really is. Like, I love to help people with their mindsets, but Jen is like the magician to like make people's...
Let's move some furniture.
People's ideas and help, I am helping them and she's helping them to create this idea of what they want, but she's able to like make it concrete and bring it to life, which is such a beautiful talent.
Well, I think it's why we work so well together, because and that's why we wrote the book, right? Is because Courtney's able to help people get the mind shift to be open to new ideas, and then I can come in and suggest new things that they may not have even known was a possibility. So
yeah. So you have done that personally as well.
Yes.
Shifting your mindset, changing, uprooting from one city to another. Your husband changed jobs. You're taking on this Reframe and Reclaim full throttle right now as we're wrapping up the end of the year. And you've helped me as well in my home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so some of the things for me as we're like looking at the last quarter is, so much has happened in my home thanks to this journey we've been on and your advice and guidance and maybe influence. I can now park my car in my garage.
Woohoo!
So it's kind of nice to say, that used to be a place of storage. It used to be a place of stress, of chaos. I really didn't like going into my garage. And now I'm parking in the garage every evening and pulling out of the garage every morning. And it just feels like my car's a little safer. I'm, a little bit more ready to get to work or get to where I'm going because it's easier to pack up the car. Mm-hmm. Less walking back and forth in the Texas heat or the rain or whatever the weather is.
Well, not only that, you can park your car in the garage, but there's also tons of room around your car when you park the garage. So you're not having to carefully open your door to make sure you don't hit a wall or hit a box or anything. There's room to breathe. There's room to move. So
yeah, and for me, it's like I can park my car in the garage, but my husband probably says, and storage is really easily accessible. He's created this amazing storage shelving unit with bins. That was his big project this year. And so we have things labeled. They're easy to get to. They're easy to access, and so that's been really great for our garage space for sure.
And I'll be interested to hear at the end of the holidays how the storage works out and if it's been easy to get to your items and if that makes the holiday season smoother for you.
Yes, my little boy is saying we want the Halloween decorations out. And so I know exactly where they are. They're in a bin labeled fall, autumn, Halloween. And so I'm excited to get those out and starting to do that as well. So, yeah.
And you've also reclaimed your son's room as well.
Speaking of my son, yes. Yeah. So he was in a little boy room and we got a big boy bed and then he had this dresser with the diaper changing station on top and we haven't used it and I was like, this is just taking up too much space. We actually use his closet for a lot of his clothes and then he has this really great storage drawers under his bed that we have his shoes and we reframed and reclaimed all of the somewhat pocketed items that were in the dresser. We found space in his bed and pulled that whole dresser out. So there's a lot more play space in there. Mm-hmm. We were able to rearrange the furniture to make it a little bit more workable. So and navigate, as we're doing bedtime or story time or doing some playtime in there. So it's been good as well.
Well, I like too how then he can see the transition too of big boys, have more space. They have, organization. So.
And he got to choose where things went. And so we have 3 little drawers and they used to have shoes and then stuffed animals and things. And I was like, we're not really using the stuffed animals. We forget they're here. So we were able to sort through some of those toys and put away toys we're not using or playing with, but then we're able to put socks and underwear, shoes in one, and then I think in the other one it's empty right now, which is
nice.
Great. So it's okay to have something that's, empty. You don't have to fill it all of the time.
Yes.
Maybe one day we'll find a reason to use that drawer.
Maybe it's the next size up clothes or something. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah, we'll find a way to use it.
Right.
If we need it. Yeah.
It's there if you need it, and that's what's nice.
Yeah. But I also know, you moving has been reframed, but also I've moved my in-laws. Mm-hmm. And so my stepmother-in-law, she has really been great at watching my little boy. But as my father-in-law and she are getting older, we just want to have more time with them. And so the opportunity arose for us to help them move closer to us. And that's just been great for support and having family closer and being able to spend more time together, having them over for breakfast on a Saturday morning or, going to dinner together, hey, you want to go to dinner? We'll come pick you up.
Oh, that's so
So,
nice.
a little less planning, having to have, driving from town to town and meeting somewhere in the middle. So it's been great to have more quality family time that way too.
Yeah, and then Jackson knows they're right there and your little boy and you
Yeah.
go see him.
Yeah, and I know you've moved closer to have support here as
Yes.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a little bit more of that easier to get to family time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, so what? I know you've made a lot of changes this year as well within your own home. So, what are your goals for the last quarter? Do you have any other spaces that you're planning on reframing and reclaiming, or have you checked off your list for the year?
So I'm really excited because
I was-
my husband has a workspace.
I'm so excited
And
too.
we have I know.
More to come.
More to come. So, my husband has a workspace. We have a 3-car garage, and one of the car garages is for all of his tools and woodworking and anything he needs, his fun hobbies. And he has lots of ideas and he has lots of things he wants to build, but sometimes things get mixed up or they get disorganized or there's just not enough space to make what he wants. So he's requested for someone named Jennifer Harris to come and help him reframe and reclaim his space. So it's not something that I am doing with him. It's his space. He wants to have autonomy over it. But I'm really excited because it is a space that he uses so much and it is part of our home.
Yes.
So,
Well, I get the impression that he was also kind of inspired from you guys cleaning the front half of the 2-car garages and then now seeing the positivity and wanting to do his own space.
and that's the magic of Reframe and Reclaim. We were actually talking to a client earlier this week of we can start in this space. Just know as we start to shift things around and things maybe function a little differently, you may want to also, continue with other spaces. And I think
Yes.
that's exactly what's happened, which, everyone in their own time. We've talked about this in our book. It may be not right now. It may take some time, come and revisit it later. So we visited the front half of the garage and we have now the 1 car in the back. And so I'm excited for him to have that space because, he uses it so much and I love what he builds. It's really great.
Yes, and just being able to clear the physical space so he has the mental space to dream up new ideas is going to be
I know.
really fun.
More
I can't
projects.
wait. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah. What about you? I know that you're still moving and settling in,
Yes.
but what do you have on your last quarter to do
So,
or goals?
My original goal was to be pretty much settled in the house around September, which for the most part we are, but there is still good and bad. So my husband's company with their relocation package, we were privileged enough to have someone come and pack our items for us. So we didn't have to pack up our whole house, which is wonderful and saved a lot of time and stress. The flip side of that is now that we're unpacking, because I did not pack the boxes, I don't know where certain things are. And, and as everybody knows with moving,
It's a lot.
there's a lot, but you might have one little space and some box that's in another room, but it's like this one last item from this other room will fit in here. And so it may not have gotten labeled correctly on the outside of the box. And so, I'm missing hooks for my mudroom organizational piece of furniture. So that's not really functional right now. Things just kind of get thrown on it, but there's no hooks to hang anything. We can't find some of our board games that we really like. So my goal is to find our missing items.
Okay.
So make sure we have everything. And then also to go back and take another look at my holiday decor. Because now that we're in a new home,
Yeah.
the seasons it's going to change, right? So decorations that worked at my previous home may not work here. So being able to go through and take another look at that. And excuse me, like I've said before, I do at the beginning of every season, at the end of seasons anyways, but this way it'll just be a little bit more intense just because it's a new home. So more potential,
Yeah,
more fun.
different space to fill
Yeah.
and where things go and what do I need in this space or, what's...
We have a mantle now I can decorate, so I'm very excited about that. Because in our other home, our TV was above our mantle, and so we didn't have that extra decorating space. So
I love that. Awesome. Yeah, and I will say moving, I've done it quite a bit. I haven't in a while, and I hope not to for a while. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of mental work. It's a lot of physical work. It's a lot of, if you have a family, there's a lot of grumbling and changes that happen. So be
Yes.
gentle with yourself. Be
And
patient with yourself.
we joke about it in the book. Courtney gives me grief because I have a bin with labels that's labeled labels. And she also gives me grief for having storage for my
your
storage
storage.
bins. Along with that, but I am at a point now where it's like we're moving into a new space, and these like certain storage pieces that worked in the past in my other home aren't working. So now I can't. Now that I've been in the space, I'm going to be able to let go of some of that as well. So I'm excited to do another purge as we get settled and find out what
Yeah.
functions for us. Like, again, go in, get it set, and I'm going to have to inspect it, see how we
Yes.
live in it, and then
Go through the
go through
7
there.
steps.
Yes.
Right, right. And I think again, you have an idea, if we're
Mm-hmm.
going through the steps of like what I hope it will be. We can kind of evaluate as I'm moving, but once you get into the space and start to assemble all of that, right? It's really hard to see what really works for you. And so making sure in any season or any chapter or any space that you're in, you can always use those 7 steps and revisit them from time to time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just a one stop shop. You gotta shop again later
Yeah,
and
because it depends on your chapter of life, right? Things.
right.
One thing is guaranteed: there's always change. So.
Change in taxes. I hear. No.
So, as we're wrapping up the last quarter here, our challenges to you is to kind of take a little bit of time to reflect. What projects have you accomplished this year? What progress have you made on goals you've had? What spaces have you been able to reframe and reclaim? And we'd love to hear from you and share us in the comments what you're planning on doing for the last quarter of the year and how you plan to accomplish those goals.
Yes. Thanks for listening in, and we will be back for another episode very soon.
Bye.